Hi guys, Cells Royal Navy here. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about how blindness is not all bad. I do want to apologize for my phone making that weird noise. I still don't understand what the point of it is. It started doing that after I upgraded to iOS 13, so I'm guessing it's some kind of new voiceover feature, but again, I'm not quite sure what it's supposed to be for. At any rate, I often get a lot of sympathy from people. You know, they're like, oh, I wish you could see. You know, my best friend since we were in preschool told me that when we were little, she used to wish that she could give me her eyes so I could see, which is really sweet. But then you've got those random strangers that come up to me and they're like, oh, you know, do you want me to pray over you so you can get your vision? Or if I could, I would wave my magic wand and give you sight. And I'm just like, what? Like, again, these are people that I don't know very well, if at all. And really, I mean, do I occasionally wish I could see? Yes. I wish I could see my baby niece. And, you know, there are occasionally things that make me wish I could see, but for the most part, like, being blind is how I grew up. You know, as a friend of mine on Facebook said yesterday, it would be as terrifying for those of us, you know, for those of us who were born without sight or who lost it at a very young age, it would be as terrifying to suddenly have vision as it would be for you to lose it suddenly. You know, because this is, you know, we're used to it. And there are some bright sides to it. Now, I will also be including some of my favorite blind jokes. You know, some people are very offended by blind jokes, but I can't see a problem with them. So, you know, one good thing is that, you know, let's say I run across a dirty video or photo, at least I'm spared the trauma. You know, there are people that have told me that there are certain videos that they've seen that they can't unsee, and I'm like, well, I don't ever have to worry about that. Let's see. I can get away with petting animals at, like, when we went to SeaWorld, actually I've been there twice, and both times I was allowed to pet, like, everything, which I don't think is normally allowed. That was pretty dang cool, excuse me. I try to keep my language clean on here. You know, I typically get more allowance, and sometimes in school, like if there was a project that was extra visual, sometimes I would get to either sit it out or I would get kind of an easier version, if you will. Although most of the time they would find a way for me to do it that wasn't visual, but occasionally, like, there was no way for me to do it, so yeah. And, you know, when Miley Cyrus went through her crazy twerking phase in 2013, I didn't have to see any of that. I didn't have to see her on the VMAs. Or was it the VMAs or the AMAs? Regardless, I heard about it, but I didn't have to see it. You know, there are things that, you know, people tell me about that, like, somebody the other day told me that she saw this homeless guy changing clothes right out in the middle of the street, and she was kind of like, ugh, you know. I don't have to see that. I don't have to be subjected to any, like, disturbing imagery. And yeah, being told about it is a little bit off-putting, but it's not nearly as bad as actually seeing it. You know, it's kind of like, you know, for me at least, when someone throws up when they're around me, it makes me queasy. But if I'm watching a video of it, it's fine. Which, again, that's another thing that I don't have to bother with, is the sight of vomit, although the sound and the smell are both pretty brutal, especially when you put them together. So, I don't know. A middle school friend of mine and I actually got into a sort of debate whether blind people or deaf people have the upper hand as far as seeing or hearing others vomit. Let's see. Oh, well, I would say I can't see. I'm sorry. And, oh, Here's a good one. When we had that big eclipse a couple years ago, the solar eclipse of 2017, you know, everybody and their brother was talking about, oh, wear the glasses, you know, don't damage your eyes, don't look right at it. Guess what? I looked right at it. And I got a little bit of a headache, but I didn't, you know, my vision didn't suffer. Huh, funniest thing about that, huh? Now, I do have light perception, so I was actually able to enjoy that because I could see, even if I didn't, though, I would have been able to feel the temperature dropping and just hear everything going quieter and feel the atmosphere change. But I could actually see it getting darker. That was cool. And the next one is in 2024, and it's in Ohio. I believe I've actually talked about that. I apologize. You know, but I didn't have to worry about wearing any special glasses or using one of those pinhole boxes. You know, same goes for, I don't have to worry about being too, you know, spending too much time looking at a screen because I don't actually look at screens. Unfortunately, too much sunlight does give me migraines, so I do have to kind of limit that. But when I was in middle school, I don't know why this always cracked me up. I'm sure it was well-intentioned, but my friend used to take me out to meet my parents after school to get picked up, and I would kind of, you know, sit back and look at the sunlight, and she used to actually put her hand over my eyes and go, "Don't do that, you're going to damage your eyes," which, you know, they're already damaged. Like I said, I'm sure it was perfectly well-intentioned, but I still kind of giggle about that. You know, but my point here is that blindness really is not all bad. There are as many or more good things about it than bad. So spare me your sympathy. You know, I do feel for those who have lost their sight later in life. That has to be really disorienting. But, you know, for me and other people who were born blind or lost their vision early on, it's really not that big a deal. It would be, you know, it would be really disorienting if we suddenly could see. Now, if in some future there was a way for me to get my vision, would I want it? If there was a way to turn it on and off, yes. Otherwise, I think I'm good. So here's a few blind jokes that are really good. Did you hear about I'm sorry. Here's a good one for Halloween. Did you hear about the blind witch? Well, she never saw the light, so she only practiced dark magic. I made that one up. Here's another one. What do you call a blind person's best friend who can see? Their sidekick. I really wish I had a soundboard so I could, like, add sound effects to this. I guess I could do that in some kind of video editor, but again, that's... I don't know how good I'd be at video editing. If you didn't catch it, what I said earlier about, you know, some people get offended by blind jokes, but I can't see a problem with them, that in itself is a pun. And my friend Steve and I, seems like every time we converse, one of us will use the word see just, you know, out of habit, and the other will be like, well, I would, but I can't. He's usually the first to pull a fast one on me, although I have been able to get him back. But a lot of times I just don't see jokes like that coming. Well, and, you know, the tagline to a blind jokes page on Facebook that I help run is blind jokes, making light of a dark disability. Really, there's endless opportunities for levity, for light-heartedness in the world of blindness. At any rate, I think I'm going to go now. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button, please give it a thumbs up, and leave a comment. If you want other people to see it, don't feel, I'm sorry, if you, oh Lord, I'm tired. If you want other people to see this video, please share it. I would appreciate it getting out. I've actually done a couple of other videos on the topic of blindness since the beginning of October, because October is Meet the Blind month, so I'm capitalizing on that. And I will be doing several more, and I will probably have some more blind jokes sprinkled in, because I'm sure that I missed some. There were probably some that I overlooked. So I hope you guys have a great day. I will be back soon, hopefully, and yeah, you guys have a great one. I'll catch you next time.